Good morning, children. Today we will learn about a very interesting topic, and that is about the most friendly object to we human beings machines. Before engines and motors were invented, people had to do things like lifting or pushing heavy objects by hands. It was very difficult for them. Gradually, we human beings realize that some simple objects can help to do the work very easily with less efforts. These objects that help us to do more work with less effort are called as machines. It can be as simple as nail cutter helping us to cut our nails, or a car taking us to long distances, or a calculator helping us to multiply the numbers fast. Now I know what you are thinking. Can there be a machine which can help us to learn fast? We just press the button and boom, we learn. And then we are in the next class, correct? We know the work is done when force is applied and an object does something like moves over a distance. So, a machine is a device which makes the work easier. That is, by applying less push or pull, that is the force, we can move the object to a bigger distance. Let's watch this video first. It gives some nice examples of the different kinds of machines, and then we will learn about them. So in this video, we saw a lot of different machines like a truck, a crane, and some more you might have not noticed. Let's look at each of them. There are different types of machines. Some machines have very few or no moving parts, so they are called as simple machines. In this chapter, we will learn about 6 simple machines. They are inclined plane, wheel and axle, pulley, lever, wedge, and screw. Yes, it may sound complicated, but it is really simple. Believe me. You remember in the video that man was facing the problem to bring the heavy box down from the truck when he was using the stairs? And then by putting that wooden plank from the truck to the ground, he was able to do it easily, correct? So that wooden plank works as a simple machine for him. It's called as inclined plane. Inclined means at an angle or slanting. The inclined plane make the work of moving things easier. That is, you need to apply less force to move the objects by using the slope to carry the object. Another example, a wheelchair carrying a patient can be easily pushed up on a slope in a hospital. So, in hospital, there is a ramp or a slope for the wheelchairs. This ramp is also an inclined plane. Now our favorite one. We all love to play with garden slide, right? It is also an inclined plane. Can you slide on a simple plain board without giving it a slanting angle? No, it is not possible because on a slope or an inclined plane it is easy to move by putting little force. We all know that the wheel is probably one of the most important invention of all times. Without wheels, no cycles, no trucks, no train. How would we travel to so long distances in a short time? Imagine. How does a wheel work? The wheel rotates and the vehicle moves, correct? Yes, it is as simple as that. Let's look in detail. The wheels are attached to a part called as axle, which is then attached to the vehicle. The force is applied to move the wheel, so the wheel moves, and then the axle moves, and then the vehicle moves in the same direction. If the wheel is smaller, then more force will be needed to move the vehicle, and if the wheel is bigger, then less force will be needed to move the vehicle. Here is another example of wheel which you might have seen in the fun fair. Here also a wheel and axle is used. The wheel rotates the axles and the ferry starts to rotate, and all of you sitting inside the ferry start having fun, correct? Have you tried putting a heavy object, say a heavy book, down and then lifting it up? Which one takes more force? Lifting it up, correct? So putting down is much easier than lifting anything up because gravity is helping us when putting things down. How can we make lifting also easier? A pulley is another machine that makes it easier to lift the objects, that is the load. Some of you must have seen a pulley that is used to draw water from the well. These pulleys on the well consist of a mounted wheel onto which a rope is attached. On the rope, a bucket is attached to one end, and on the other end we apply force. The pulleys make the work of pulling up the bucket easier. That is, we need to apply less force to pull a heavy bucket filled with water. The object to be moved is called as load. There are two parts to a pulley, the wheel and the rope. The rope fits into the groove on the wheel. One end of the rope is attached to the object or to the load we want to pull up or down, and other end is where we apply the force. What pulley does is it makes the load and the force move in opposite directions. If the rope is pulled down, the load goes up. If the rope is left to go up, the load goes down. And the larger the wheel in the pulley is, the lesser force will be needed to move the load. Here is another example. Look at this picture. What is it? A crane that is used to lift heavy objects and move it from one place to another. It also has a pulley attached to it. One end of the rope is attached to the load using a hook and other to the machine that is pulling or pushing the rope. Let's say a huge load has to be picked up using the crane. A person in the crane who operates the crane is called as crane operator. The crane operator moves a handle in the crane backwards by applying little force. The machine in the crane moves the rope in crane backwards. The pulley attached to the crane rotates and the load attached to the other end moves up. So the crane operator applied little force and a huge load was picked up. The rest of the magic was done by pulley, another machine that helped us to do more with less force.